In this video I'm going to be covering the three different sections of the mod that I created for Unreal Tournament Editor by changing the projectile of the rocket launcher, and how I did this and what steps I took to make it. When creating the vinyl part of the mod, I, like the discs, started off with a cylinder as a base, and then once I had found the correct radius, I went and altered the height of it, or the depth, however you look at it. The height segments were ideal, and so were the sides. So once I had done this, I then turned it to an editable poly, which would allow me to edit each individual face. So, and then I selected these two edges and switched to edge mode, which would then select the edges around them. And then to create the curve on the edge, I started off with just removing the corners altogether, and then adding, let's see, two, which gave me this nice curve to it. Transfer type. Go. Which, yeah, just playing around with the settings to make sure which one's correct or which one I like the most. And then once I'd done that, just click OK, go back onto face mode, and then a vinyl disc has like a hole in the center for it to be put on the turntable. So I did this by going into insert, which allows me to create a face within a face, and then just choosing a number I think would be suitable. So yeah, 160 seems good. It's not done on the other side, so it's just boom boom, there we go, done on each individual side. So now I no longer need those, so I can delete them. Bridge these two, so there's no longer the hole there. And then, right, so next part we want to create the curve inside of this little gap. So let's go 5 maybe, no, 5's not good enough, or too big. So let's go with 1. No. See, with stuff like this, just sort of go do it by eye and what looks good. So the height looks good. Let's change this to. Yeah, I'm liking that. And then we'll add another one to get the final curve bit in. Yeah, that looks good. Wait, can we get one more? 0.5, and then negative 0.5. How's that look? Yeah, no, get rid of that one. Alright, so there we have our centering and the basics of our vinyl disc. Now, if we wanted, we could go and make that a bit smaller or larger. Let's just make it a tad smaller. There we are. So then we've got all of this to create a label. And like the disc itself, or the saw blade looking disc, I'm going to now unwrap it. So just select them all. You don't have to do this, but it's just what I do. Found it works. So yeah, there's that. And then we want to open the UV, and then flatten mapping. Let's bump this up to maybe 50. How's that look? Looks okay. Now, as this is just how I made it in the first place, I'm not really... actually, let's just see if I can make this better. Where are the buttons? Nope, nope. 3. Where's the selection? This is the one problem in... Oop. Poured down the wrong thing. There we go, so then... I'm gonna want those. Gonna want those. Going to want those. That. And that. Well, let's just... And then let's just bang, bang. Right, and then let's flatten them. And then we can... Sure. There we go. So then let's push those up to the top and just scale them in just a little bit so they fit. And then we can flatten wrapping. Right, and then we can that'll do. Right, so then we want to go to save UV and find a good place to save it. So let's put it in here. And then file naming is crucial, so of course vinyl UV, and then render it to move it into Photoshop. So just render that, and this is what you get. So let's find the place to save that as well. So PNG, and then vinyl UV render, and then yep. So we no longer need these, so we can close those down, and then we go into Photoshop and just ignore this bit. Something I was working on earlier. So then we go to mod, vinyl UV render, and this is where we would create our texture. Right, so this is our this would be the basics of our texture. Ooh, so going back, we have, alright, this is the vinyl texture finish one. So yep, we'll just open this. So what you're looking at just here is the basic. Let's just go back to this. This is how it would sort of start off, and as this is slightly different, I can well, and this is the finish one. So if I get rid of this, as you can see, it's very basic, which is what I was going for, because I wanted it to be small but basic and quite funny. This is a reference to a YouTube video which is about a band how they would write their songs from, or how people think, or how somebody thinks they write their songs. And this is, yeah, it's quite a funny video. But it's funny, but it's weird. So yep, that's the vinyl disc, and once you've created your texture, so let's just hop back into here and then unhide all. So as you can see, if I just jump to the front view, right, that is what we did just now, and this is the final thing. And if you look, you can just there, you can definitely see it's much bigger, much thicker, and it's got more lines on it. So this is because I transferred it over from, or I had to retransfer it over from the game at Unreal back into 3ds Max. So yep, that's why it's got those lines on. But yeah, that's the disc. Oh no, that's the vinyl. And now I'll move on to the disc. Right, when creating the Sawblade style disc or projectile that I'm going to be using, again, like as well as the vinyl, started off with a cylinder and created it, removed the height segments so it's only one segment, and then changed the amount of sides to 24. So then if you look at the front, it's got a point in each of the 4 directions, and then right, just put it into editable poly to edit it, and then sort of go around like this. Let's put it to -2. Right, that'll do. Is that the right? Is that a good size? No, let's do 20. Yeah, that was about right. So then what I did was ring the edges around so I can connect them like this. And then once that had done, just select that edge, and then just deselect these edges here, or these edges here. So boom, just let's get on with this. There we go. Yep. Yeah. Just make sure. All deselected, like. so. And then let's just delete the ones in the center there. Let's just make sure they're all still there. Yep. So then, what I did next was just no, that doesn't want to. No. There we go. Right. Made those as small as possible. So we've got the basic blade. Right, so as you can see, it's gone from 192 polys down to 96, just by doing that. So then the next part was just select these two faces, and now turn on angle snap. So then what we would want to do is alright, okay. Why do you not want to work? There we go. Right, let's do it. How's that look? Maybe one more? Yeah, that'll do. Well, oh, okay. Let's just wondering how my fellow colleagues or college students doing. My friends. No, so let's just bring that to there. How's that look? That be alright? Yeah, that'll be fine. Right, so then next stage is to create the outlines or the detail I want from these bordering details. So yep, that looks okay. So just to add more depth to the model itself, can I, yep, which is, so that's the basic shape of, so yeah, that was the basic disc saw blade done. So yeah, next part is to unwrap it, which is basically the same as the vinyl disc. So well, once you've seen one item being unwrapped, it's basically the same process for every other item. So yep, so next you'd want to move it into Photoshop. So already got it loaded up here. Let's just hide these, right, and then just so you can see, oh, God damn it, right, just so you can see what sort of, clicking on all the wrong things here, right, that is the one that I used in the mod. That is the unwrap for it. As you can see, again, it's got more lines onto it just to make it look better in game. So yeah, once my mouse seems to be double clicking at the minute. Right, there we go. So once this had all been done, I started off with a base colour for it. So sort of a grey with a bit of a white finish on it, and then started to build up the inside. So if I just hide hide the UV. Right, so start off with a black circle. Actually, I need that again. Which is, as you can see, is the inside. Damn. Right, I seem to have hit the wrong button somewhere. Fit screen. There we go. Let's go back to that. So yep, and then added bits to the center, which yeah, as you can see, started adding to the center to build it up and up and up and up, the texture. So again, I added some text to it, danger, sharp, which is ironic in this case. So yeah, that is the basic structure of the texture, but I've not named the files, the layers, which I should have done, and if I did, it would sort of be something like this. So it'd be base, material, color. Oh, damn it. And then it would be center. I don't know what you call it. Center state, disk. No. Placeholder for now. And then that would be icon border. So then we got icon I'll call it SX for skull and crossbones. And then the text is its own, and then UV. And if I wanted to, I could. Yep. So that is what it is. And again, I changed some of these for this. So I changed, as you can see, changed the middle section, and sharp. I would cancel. Right. Okay. Seems to not have it on this computer. Or not have the font I used, which was a custom font. So I'm not sure where that's gone. But yeah, that is the final texture. And if we hop back into 3ds Max and hide selection, this is the alright, okay, I forgot about this. Change it. There we go. That is the disk itself. So looking at it, you can danger, edgy, which is, I think, is quite amusing for some people. So yeah, that is how I made the disc blade. The final section here is we are in Unreal Tournament Editor, and as you can see at the bottom, we've got different coloured markings under each little tab. Light blue is static mesh, so they're the models. The green are the materials, which look like second one up. This is what the material looks like. So it is basically very simple, very easy to use. Just texture sample, and then you drag your texture into this, and then just connect it to the base color. So that is that. Here are the textures that you saw earlier, and these dark blue ones over here are the blueprints for each of the individual projectiles represented by the meshes. So let's go into the disk first. As you can see, right, if we zoom in, this is what the mesh would. So this is what the mesh looks like in the blueprint, and you can alter it itself. So in the movement, well, you can set the movement to whatever you want, so you can fine tune it yourself. And in the projectile tab, you can check or change the damage parameters, and all the damage parameters and everything that you can alter in here. You can do the same in the vinyl disc or vinyl projectile. So once you're happy with the movement and everything like that, you want to find the rocket launcher blueprints, which Epic they don't make it easy to find in total or at all. So people spend hours or a few minutes maybe going through trying to find things. Like they play a character, they can't find that, they've hidden that somewhere. But for this, the fire modes, you want to just change these to the projectile class to like the disc from the original, which is BP_rocket. So yep, the rocket projectile, which is the original one. And once you've done that, you want to scroll down and projectile class, you just want to change these from the originals as well. And that is it for the basics of the blueprint. So now to test it out, we can go into the game, play it, and just see if they want to work. Yep. The idea of this will be that it's a one-hit kill. So yeah. And we can just test it out later on we can test it out on an enemy. So if we just spawn one, and if we can lock on, no. So yeah, it is a one-hit kill, which is what it was aimed to be in the first place. So yeah, that is the basics of my mod.